Okay, good evening to you all. Right.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
So actually, you know that I couldn't give you the note due to like I was not well, and therefore I couldn't prepare the tute and give it to you. So we have prepared the August tute along with the July one. So both tutes you can obtain now. It's available. So when you send the receipt, please make sure to send both receipt to both August, July receipts to Ms. Lakmali, and she will be sending you the note, right? So from today onwards, it's available. So you can collect this note from. And so I think we were discussing about our lesson number 5, chapter number 5. And there was only one question to be discussed. Let's finish that and then go to the note, and I'll revise the note as well, because like some students like they couldn't write and they missed it. I'll discuss and revise that note too. Okay, so this is page number 49 in workbook, right? Page number 49 in workbook. So the question number 2, fill in the gaps in the table, because we have discussed up to here, right? Lastly, we have discussed up to here. So then fill in the gaps in the table. All right. Start and end. So what is the symbol which is used for starting and end?
Circle.
Oval.
It is oval or ellipse, right? It is not a circle. It is oval, ellipse, or rounded rectangle. So it should be, the symbol should be oval, ellipse, or rounded rectangle. This is wrong, right? This one is wrong, which is given in your book. This symbol is wrong. Please write down there, put asterisk and write down using a pencil. This symbol given is wrong. The symbol should be oval, ellipse, or rounded rectangle. That is the correct symbol, right? You can write down there. දීලා තියෙන එක වැරදි පුතේ. දීලා තියෙන symbol එක රවුමක් නේ දීලා තියෙන circle එකක් නේ. හැබැයි start එක end එක පෙන්නන්නේ rounded rectangle එකක් හරි oval එකක් හරි ellipse එකක් හරි දෙන්නවා. ඒ හින්දා මේ දීලා තියෙන symbol එක වැරදි කියලා වැරද්දක් දාලා ඒක ලියලා පෙන්නන්නේ ඉතින් ඉස්සරහින් හරි symbol එක මේකයි කියලා. Right? Okay, input and output. What is the symbol for input and output? Yes, what is the symbol for input output? You know it.
Parallelogram.
Parallelogram.
Yes, symbol name is called parallelogram. Input and output we are using parallelogram. සිංහලෙන් අපි කියන සමාන්තරාශ්‍රයක් කියලා. හරි? ඒක තමයි අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. සමාන්තරාශ්‍රයක් තමයි අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. මේ මොනවාද input output දෙකම පෙන්නන්න. හරි? input උත් එහෙමයි output එකත් එහෙමයි. Both input and output will be displayed using parallelogram, right? Okay, next. Process and activity. What is the symbol? Process.
Rectangle.
It's a rectangle. Yes, correct. So here I wrote here to like get inputs required to solve the problems as well as to produce the outputs. And show we are using this symbol, right? You can write down the same. So that is the description. Process or activity is shown or displayed using a rectangle. That is to show steps of any procedure. Process or activity is displayed using a rectangle. Then decision. What is the symbol for decision? So what is the symbol for decision? Diamond, yes, exactly, very good. So it is diamond. For decision, we are using the symbol diamond, right? Decision is a diamond symbol. You have to write, or you can say rhombus. Anyway, this is like a square, but a tilted or like rotated square. Diamond එකක් තමයි use කරන්නේ. So this is the symbol. The purple color one is the symbol for decision or condition. Data flow. How we can show the data flow? Using arrows, right? The data flow is displayed using arrows. It can be horizontal arrows, vertical arrows. So anyway, whatever the arrows it shows, the data flow. Okay, these are the symbols used in a flow chart. Is there any doubt? Okay, do you need any other assistant, any other doubt? Please tell me. Okay, have you finished?
Yes, sir. I wrote it in the workbook because I have extra one.
All right, okay. So shall we move to the note then? So if you have finished.
Okay, sir.
Okay, good. So let's move to the note, right? I'll discuss the summary of the note, which I couldn't give. This is because the last activity is showing, asking you to draw flow charts for question 2 and 3. That is there in the note, right? The question 2 and 3. So let me show the question 2 and 3. These are the questions. So you can see the first question is second question is, so to find the perimeter. To find the perimeter, write an algorithm. Question 3 is to make a T, write an algorithm. These two algorithms you have to show using flowcharts. So that is included to your note, right? Therefore, don't worry, I'll be explaining that again that is the last part. And with that, the particular lesson is officially done. We have to discuss the last lesson right now. But remember that you have your examination on not next week, week after next week, you have your term test examination. Okay, let's
The
move.
second term, right?
Yes, second term one. So you will be getting questions up to chapter number 5. The last chapter will be excluded, that you won't get. So next week, so you have to decide. So if you have any difficult lessons, I can revise that. So that is option number 1. Option number 2, I can start the new lesson. You have to tell what should I do, right? Discuss among you and tell me, so whether to start the new lesson or to discuss any difficult lesson and revise it. So can do both, right? Can do both, but you have to tell me in the group. So based on the number of votes, right? Based on the number of votes casted, I'll decide, right? If number of votes are high for revision, discussing questions, I can do that. If number of votes are high for the new lesson, then I can start the new lesson. That is for the next week. Okay, so we already discussed about this lesson is about algorithm and flowchart. We already discussed what is an algorithm. Algorithm is a systematic way of solving a problem. Algorithm එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ systematic way of solving a problem. A systematic and carefully organized series of steps. So algorithm එක තියෙනවා systematic ක්‍රමානුකූල සහ හරි පරිස්සමෙන් පිළිවෙල කරන ලද පිළිවෙලට සකස් කරන ලද උපදෙස් සහ ක්‍රියා පටිපාටියක් කියලා අපි කියනවා. ක්‍රියා පටිපාටියක් තියෙනවා algorithm. An algorithm is a systematic and carefully organized set of or series of steps to solve a problem. So why algorithm is designed to solve a problem? Algorithm එකක් ඇයි අපි design කරන්නේ? ඇයි අපි හදන්නේ? ගැටලුවක් විසඳන්න. ඒක තමයි algorithm එකේ අරමුණ. Okay, here small example is given. Right here, small example is given. This example says, the main example there's a problem and how to solve this using an algorithm. This shows, right? This shows a problem and also it shows how to solve this problem using an algorithm, right? Okay, so let's see. Okay, for an example, let's take if there's a doctor and this doctor wants to get weekly summary about the corona pandemic. Okay, he need to produce a statistical report, a weekly summary about the COVID death and COVID infections. Okay, let's say he's asked a question. Question doctor, can you tell me how many patients are coming per day? දවසකට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් patients කීයක් admit වෙනවද? කීයක් විතර? කී දෙනෙක් විතර එනවද? How many patients are admitting per day? කීයක් විතර එනවද? සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කීයක් විතර එනවද? So let's say somebody is going to ask that question from the doctor. And another question that that person going to ask, how many deaths reported per day? That media වලින් හරි ඇවිල්ලා අහනවා. Doctor කී දෙනෙක් විතර සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ලෙඩ වෙනවද දවසකට? කී දෙනෙක් විතර ඔය ලෙඩුන්ගෙන් දවසකට මැරෙනවද? Right? So how many deaths reported per day? So let's say he's asked those two questions. Those are problems. In order to answer these problems, he needs data. So what are the inputs? These are the inputs. Input is daily infections and daily death. A daily infection, let's say October 1st, 909,888 infections and 2 deaths. October 2nd, 1,023 infection, 4 deaths. Likewise, you have a report like this. Then, so what doctor need to do? Doctor need to add them up, add these numbers, and then doctor can find how many infection for 7 days. For all 7 days, doctor has found there are 7,000 infections, 7,120 infections. So throughout this week, there were 15 deaths reported. 7,000 infection, 15 deaths. So he can tell to the reporter, normally there are around 1,000 or 1,017 infections. How he has taken that? He has added them up. The sum is 7,120 divided by 7 and found the average. එයා කරන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය හොයලා තියෙනවා මේ ඔක්කොම එකතු කරලා දවස් 7යිනේ තියෙන්නේ 7ෙන් බෙදුවම එක දවසකට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 1017ක් විතර එනවා. Deaths also the same. So take total deaths and divide by 7. දවස් 7ටම මරණ 15යි. So total deaths is 15. Divide by 7 and you can find 2 is the answer. 2 point කියන්න බෑ. හරිද? 2 point something කියන්න බෑ. මරණ භාග නැහැ. You don't have half deaths. Therefore, you have a standard integer figure. Normally, there are 2 deaths. Normally, there are 1,000 infections, so 1,017 infections. So that he can tell. So this is how he has solved the problem. He has actually broken down this problem to inputs, outputs, and processes. Then, through carefully organized steps, he has solved the problem. Okay. Then the next. So the symbols in the flowchart, we already discussed that. Okay, symbols in the flowchart, that is also included to the note. So we already discussed. This symbol is wrong in the book. Ellipse or rounded rectangle should be there. But in your book, there is a circle, that is wrong. Right? Circle is used for connector. Connector means connecting multiple parts. It's like a roundabout. Connecting multiple parts. That is what the circle, purpose of the circle. But normally start and end is rounded rectangle, ellipse or oval. Okay, a sample question. So area A of a circle is calculated based on the following equation. Area A is equal to 5r squared. 5 is a special value. The value of 5 is 22 divided by 7. And radius r is equal to 7 centimeters. So then how do we calculate? Area is 22 divided by 7, 5. R squared means r 2 times. R. 5 r. 5 is 22 divided by 7. R is 7. R is again 7. So when you multiply, you can get the area of a circle as 154 square centimeters. So that is the area of this circle, 154 square centimeters. This is one sample. And so what is the algorithm? Algorithm to solve this problem: find the radius, calculate the area, display the area. Right? So input the radius, calculate the, so similarly you can input the radius, calculate the circumference, display the circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r. So that is 2 into, so 22 divided by 7 into 7. R is 7. So this is the circumference. These are some examples. We already learned how to find area of a rectangle and area of, circumference of a rectangle. Can you remember that? You already learned that. How to find area of a rectangle and area of a, area of a rectangle and also area of a, circumference of a rectangle. So let's see the calculations, how we have done that. Okay, so if you are going to find the area of a, let's say area of a rectangle. So what are the inputs? Yes, what are the inputs? Tell me the inputs. Tell me the inputs. Hello, I'm asking from you. Area of rectangle. So what are the inputs? What we need?
The length and width of the rectangle.
Yes,
Exactly. Length and width.
width of the rectangle.
Length and width of the rectangle. So what is the process?
Multiply length by width.
Yes. Area equal length multiplied by width. That is the process. So what is the output? Output is, yes. So what is the output? What do you need to give after doing all these things? What do you need to display?
Area of a rectangle.
Area of the rectangle. Okay, let's organize this to the algorithm. In algorithm, you can say step 0, 1. So what is step 0, 1? Input. Just tell me. Input, length, and width. Step number 2. You can say it's same, right? This is step number 2. Step number 3. You can say display area. So shall we write down this very quickly? Because this is what they have asked. The area and perimeter. Area of a rectangle, you have to identify input, process, and outputs. Then in the algorithm, you have to identify this. You have to write the steps. Let's do that very quickly, right? Can you write down the answer for circumference of a rectangle?
So we did it.
Yeah, so I'm asking again, just to see whether you can remember. This is revising, right? I'm revising the same lesson. I just want to see whether you can remember this. So what are the inputs?
Get the length of the rectangle, get the width of a rectangle.
Okay, process. Circumference equal.
Circumference equals length plus width multiplied by 2.
Okay, so the output is circumference.
Output circumference.
Okay, similarly, you can write the algorithm. But if you have already, like, if you can remember, no need to write down. But if you cannot remember, I recommend you to write down that fact, right? So algorithm. Step 0, 1, can say input. Step 0, 2. Step 0, 3. Okay, so I need, how to do this? I need you to draw the, I ask you to draw the flow chart as well. In flow chart, similar to this, in flow chart, you can use the symbols. Start, enter the width, enter the length, then you can find the area, then find circumference and display it. Okay, if I use these symbols again, okay, let's write how to find the circumference. I can say input length. Then I can input width. So those are inputs. You can see parallelograms, right? Symbols are parallelograms. Since these are inputs, I have to use this parallelogram symbol. Then you have to say, let's say you are going to find the circumference. Circumference equal to length plus width multiplied by 2. That is the circumference. And here you have to display the circumference. And finally, so that is your flow chart, right? So today I'm going to tell you a special thing. Let's see how can we convert that to a running program. How can we convert this to a running program? First of all, please write down this today. First of all, please take your time, write down this. So this is the algorithm and this is the flow chart. Please write down this. Actually, there are two algorithms. I have explained how to find the area and how to find the. Therefore, if you need, I can write that other flow chart as well. Together, I can write the other flow chart as well because, like, yes, Sasiru, do you have a problem? You can ask if you have.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, we have to draw that algorithms too, right? The flow chart too.
Yeah, you need. So both flow charts I have added like for your convenience. Let's say this is area, and if it is area, you can say area is equal to width into length. And here display the area. So both flow charts are there, right? Now you can write down both because like it's useful. Both are there.
Sir, we need to write.
Yes, you need to write down. You need to write down the algorithm, as well as you need to draw the flowchart. Both. Write down the algorithm and also draw the flowchart. Okay. So let's see. Now we have like cleared that question. And actually this question shows, see here, this question shows how like how this making tea example, like how the flow chart is. Actually, there are 3 ways of organizing the instructions in flow chart. So those are called control structures. Control structures. So there are 3 ways of organizing the flow of logic. So those are called control structures. Can you remember the names of them? So what are the names? What are the 3 ways of organizing a content? Yes? Can you remember the names? There are 3 ways of organizing content. Contacts organizing organizing the instructions. Instruction organize karna vidhi tunak tiyena. Right? So can you remember? So what are the ways of organizing these steps? Can you remember?
Algorithms.
Those are those. Anyway, all these are algorithms. So I'm asking, what are the 3 ways of organizing? So there are 3 fundamental ways of organizing the instructions. We learned it. What are they?
Symbol.
Input, process, and output.
No. That's not.
Symbol. Symbols.
Symbol.
Control structures.
Yes, control structures. What are the control structures? So can you tell me what are the control structures? There are some control structures. What are these control structures? Can you remember? Yes. There are control structures. So what are these control structures? I'm asking that.
Sir, we didn't do it.
We did that. We discussed that. So can you remember sequence, selection, and repetition? Sequence, where the instructions are executed one after another. Selection is, that is if else, when there is a, right? So sequence, for an example, how you came grade 1 to grade 6. So grade 1, then grade 2, then grade 3, then grade 4, likewise, you came one after another. So that is called sequence. Selection means when you have a decision to be taken, we call selection, because like you cannot execute all the instructions. Instead of that, you are executing some filtered instructions. You cannot execute all the instructions. Instead of that, you are executing a chosen path, a selected path. That is called a selection. Repetition means you are repeating the same instruction set again and again. Okay, can you tell me the control structures now at least? So what are the three control structures? What are the three control structures?
Sequence,
Yes.
selection, repetition.
Sequence, selection, and repetition.
Selection, repetition.
Sequence is, okay, if you don't know, I think you need to highlight this. No need to write down the note, at least write down these names. Sequence, selection, repetition. Three control structures are there. Control, so I'll highlight this part, please write down. Sequence, selection, and repetition. No need to write down the description, but just write down, so what are the three control structures and why they are called control structures. So please write this. In sequence, please remember, in sequence, instructions will be executed one after another. So is this, what is this control structure? Is it sequence, selection, or repetition?
Sequence.
Sequence. You can see all the instructions are executed one after another. What about this one? Is it sequence, selection, repetition?
Selection.
So where is the decisions? In selection, you need to see decisions. Is there any decision or is it sequence?
Excuse me, sir. I was writing the last part.
There's no
Can
decision.
you show that I'll take a screenshot?
This is, yeah, this is sequence. I'll give you a chance, don't worry. So first of all, please listen to the lesson, then I'll give time to write down. Right? So this is again sequence. Sequence means all the instructions you can see executed one after another. This is also sequence. This is also sequence. And this is example for selection. So why it is selection? All the instructions are not executed. All the instructions are not executed. Instead of that, there is a selection. So here you are entering two numbers. What will happen after this? Can you tell me? It's entering two numbers, and what will happen after this? So can you try to understand this flow chart and tell me what will happen? Yes, explain. So see the flow chart, read it carefully, and tell me the output of this. So what is the output of this flow chart? I'll give you time to write down. Don't worry. Tell me the output of this flow chart first. Yes, what will happen? Input number 1, input number 2, then you are checking whether number 1 greater than number 2. If number 1 is greater than number 2, if it is yes, display number 2. If number 1 is greater than number 2, you display number 2. If number 1 is greater than number 2, if it is not, you display number 1. So what is the output? So what is the output? Yes? Sorry? මොකද්ද මේකේ output එක?
Displaying number.
display කරන්නේ මොන number එකද? number එකක් display කරනවා තමයි. මොන number එකද display කරන්නේ?
Number 2.
හැම වෙලේම number 2 ද display කරන්නේ. එහෙම කොහොමද වා කියන්නේ? How you tell like that? How you tell that it will display number 2? So what is the argument?
The smallest number.
Exactly. Very good. So you have done that with proper understanding. It is displaying the smallest number. Very good. Right? So it is displaying the smallest number. Right? So why, can others understand what she has explained? So that is very good. Like you have carefully understand this. It's displaying the smallest number.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Yeah. So that is what reading, right? Don't just read. Don't just read it for sake of reading. Just do this with a meaning, right? Try to understand the code behind that. Okay, let's say there are two numbers. Let's say first number is 10. Second number is 5. Then you are checking whether 10 greater than 5. Is it yes or no?
This yes.
Yes, 10 greater than 5. If so, display number 2. What is number 2? Number 2 is
Smallest number.
5. Yeah, that is the smallest number. 5 is the smallest number. It will be displayed, but it will display this and end, but it will not display this. So that is why it is called selection. That is why it is called selection. Okay, let's say the first number is number 5 and second number is number 10. Now you are checking whether number 1 is 5 greater than number 2, 10. Is it yes? Is 5 greater than 10?
No.
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 Then it will come here and display number 1. What is number 1? Again 5. Right? Number 1 is again 5. Anyway, here also it's displaying the smallest. So now it's selecting this part. Through this part, it's showing the smallest. So whatever the number you enter, regardless of the input, let's say you have entered 73 here, 32 here, or 23 here. So the first number is 73. Second number is 23. So which is 73 greater than 23? Is it yes or no?
Yes.
If yes, which number will be displayed?
Display number 2.
2. That is 23. The smallest number will be displayed. That is, so only one path will be followed, either this path or this path. දෙකෙන් එකයි. එක්ක මේ පැත්ත නැත්නම් මේ පැත්ත. දෙකම follow කරන්නේ නැහැ. So this is called selection. This is called selection. Right? Showing the, I didn't show you the question. Actually, I asked whether you understood the question. So it is displaying the smallest number. Right? This is selection. Sequence you understand. In sequence you don't have such selection. Selection is a decision එක තියෙනවා පුතේ. ඒක තමයි speciality එක. Selection, so sequence වල එහෙම නැහැ. It's just data flow. Right? Then repetition. Repetition means you are repeating the same thing. This is also selection, right? You can see. So displaying pass or fail. So based on the average mark. You are taking marks for maths, English, and IT. And if all marks are greater than 50, then pass. If all are greater than 50, pass. නැත්නම් fail. This is also selection. Right? Repetition means repeating. Actually, it is not mentioned here. Repeating කියන්නේ එකම දේ ආයෙ ආයෙ වෙනවා. But that part is not mentioned here. Let me check whether is there any repetition. මෙතන repetition එකක් නැහැ. repetition කියන්නේ මෙතන දීලා නැහැ. But in grade 7, 8 we will learn repetition that will basically execute the same instruction set again and again. Since in your level you don't have that, so therefore it's not displayed. Right? Okay, now I have a special task prepared for today, that is converting flow chart to a working code. So let's try to convert this code, this one, to a working code. Draw a flow chart to input 2 numbers and find the total. You are entering 2 numbers and take the total of those 2. I'm trying to convert this to a program. To do that, I'm using a special platform called Scratch, but today I'm not going to introduce that platform since you don't have Scratch in your book. But anyway, why I'm using this platform, because it is easy. So what you can do is you can practice this. Let me send you the link. You can use tab, mobile phone, laptop, anything, computer, ඕන එකක් use කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ link එකට යන්න. tab එක, mobile phone එක, laptop එක ඕන එකක්. මෙතන tutorial කියලා තියෙන එක close කරන්න පුළුවන්. So there is a small green color window called tutorial. You can close that. So please load this interface. I'll show you how to convert this problem. That is adding 2 numbers and displaying the total to a workable code. Sorry. Okay, the very first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to initiate event. Events are in yellow color. The මේ පැත්තේ මේ colors තියෙනවා. ඒ colors ටික බලන්න. I'm going to click on the events which is yellow color and drag the first element when flag is clicked. මෙතනින් ඇදලා දානවා. මෙතන වලට වැරදුනොත් ආපහු මෙතනින් ඇදලා මෙතනට දාන්න. You can drag it back. Now I'm going to drag the flag click to the stage. Flag click. Okay, the first thing that I need to do is enter number 1. To give input, you have light blue color one, which is called sensing. So light blue color one, sensing, that is to give an input.
Excuse me, sir. What do we have to
So can you do the same?
do now?
I'm adding sensing. From that, I'm going to ask a question. That is, I'm telling enter number 1. Enter number 1. And can you see there is something called answer? So just underneath, just ask. Underneath of this, you can see answer. This answer I'm going to save. To save something, you need a variable. To save it in the memory, you need variable. So let me go to the orange color one variable. Make a variable, let's say n1. n1 is the variable name. n1. Click OK. Then you can see n1 is here. I can drag the first instruction here, set my variable, but this time I'm changing it to set n1 to the answer. I can drag the answer and put it here. So shall we do up to here, up to this level? Shall we complete and tell me, like if you are struggling, please tell me. If you need help, please tell me. I'll do. No, not that. Don't join. No need to join. You can go to the link that I have provided. You can see start creating. Go to start creating. Don't join. Okay, I'll help one by one. But if you have done, no need to show the screen. If you have done, it is okay. If you have not done, tell me. If you have done, no need to tell. Okay, still loading. Yes, Senodi need help. Anyone else need help? Please raise your hand. I'll do right. Senodi need help, and Sanubi also need help.
Excuse me, sir. Shall I answer a question?
Yeah, sure.
How to save that number?
Using a variable. You have to use a variable, introduce a variable. I'll show you now. Just look at the screen of your friend, how she's doing. Right. Okay, first of all, you have to go to the events, yellow color events. Close this first. Yeah, close this first. Then go to the yellow color events. From that, get the flag click. Okay, then go to the blue color sensing, light blue color sensing. From that, ask what is your name, get that, and change it to enter number 1. Change it to enter number 1. Just double click on what is your name, and then you can type enter number 1 there. Enter number 1. Okay. One that is meaningless. You have to type enter number 1. Type the message. Just type in 1 will be meaningless. Enter number 1. Okay. So then, can you see there is something called answer just below that? Here. So others also see how, because don't ask the same questions again. So see how she's doing. Apply that. If you need any other, if you have any other question, you can ask. Yeah, drag that answer. And now you need to save this answer. Keep it here. Yeah, keep it here. Don't put it there. Just keep it here. And just get a variable to save that. And let's introduce a new variable. Let's introduce a new variable. Let's introduce a new variable. Go to variables, variables in orange color. Orange color variables. Then make a variable. There you can see make a variable. Make a variable. That there's a button. That is orange color with this. So please refer to the color, orange color. Then you can see make a variable. You know the 2D. Make a variable. Div number 1, N1. N1. Yeah, then click OK. Right, now get this set my variable to 0. Then, yeah, change that my variable to N1 and answer to here. Answer to 0. Okay, who need answer to 0, right? Who need help?
Excuse me, sir, I need help.
Yeah, you can share. This is Senodi, right? Senodi, have you
Yes.
done? Yeah. So can you make it full screen, Senodi? I just want to see. Yeah, enter number 1. Set the answer. Senodi, answer එක දාගන්න ඕන අපිට. Answer to this 0. Drag and drop that to 0. 0 කියන තැනට දාගන්න answer. Drag and drop. Yeah, we place it there. Okay, good. So this is how you save the answer. Right now you can click the flag and see. Click the flag and see.
Okay.
Yeah, you can enter a number. You can put any number like 10, 20, 30, any number you can enter. Press enter and you can see. So when you enter, it will be assigned to this variable. Yeah, you can see 25 is saved. Okay, who else need help? Who else need help can share. You have to introduce a variable. Go to the orange color one variable and introduce a variable. Yeah, click on that button and just give N1. Click OK. Right now, set my variable to 0. Please take that. Change it to N1 and put the answer there. Done. Anyone else needs support? Now the first part is over. Anyone else needs support? Please share. Okay, I hope no one else. Yeah. So this is the first part. The second part is same, similar to this. Means you have to ask the question again. Go to the sensing, ask the question again. So what is the question now? So that is enter number 2. Enter number 2. That is the question. And the answer, go to the variable back, introduce a new variable, N2 this time. Set N2, this time N2 to the sensing the answer. Set N2 to the answer. So same thing that you have done for N1 can be done for N2. Now go back to this variable and make another variable. Make another variable that is total. How can I find the total? How can I find the total? By adding, yes?
Number 1 and number 2.
Adding number 1 and number 2. Then you have to set total to, from the operations, the green color one, you can see addition. Operation, the addition. Put addition there and then put from the variables this N1 and N2 variables. Now the total will be calculated. Let's see. The first number is 10, the second number is 20. You can see the 30 is there. The total is calculated. Addition happens, total is calculated. Let's click it again. A big number, another big number. You can see the total is added, calculated. It does the calculation, right? Some number, another number. You can see the total is calculated. Now you need to display that. To do that, you have to go to the looks and say what? Say from the variables total for, let's say, 5 seconds. Keep it for 5 seconds. Let's click it again. 34, 23, you can see 57 is the answer. It's saying that. Click it again. Another 2 variables, you can see 79 is the answer. But you can make it meaningful by adding another one, this join. So go to the operations. There you can see join apple banana. You can put the total there and you can say total is this total. Then put it there. Click this, enter 2 numbers. It says total is 16. When you input 2 numbers, it says total is 90. When you input different numbers, It calculates the total and display back to us. So what I have taken this join to make a meaningful sentence or phrase. Okay, you can try this at home. This is not there anyway, don't worry. This part is not there in your syllabus, grade 6 syllabus. It is not there, it is only there in grade 7. Therefore, you have enough time when you go to grade 7, you can do this, because there are a lot of things, like even there are games that you can develop that is there in grade 7, right? When you go to grade 7, you can practice this, but if you can practice now itself, that is a definite advantage. Okay, I have zoomed that. You can take a screenshot. So refer to the colors. These colors are helping you identify where are these controllers. A part all the habalan, a part all the theater in Tomapi gun. A command. Part of the anything that the okay. So give a try, Pute. So refer to the video again, just give a try again and
Saying where the total is in? In which color? In which color the total?
so that is variable, right? Total. The variable that I have created.
Okay,
I have created a variable called total that came here. Set total.
Sir, can I show my
Sorry.
can I show my one?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, good. That's correct. Okay, Pute. So with that, I'll stop for today. Next day, I'll be discussing the new lesson, right? Good night.
Good night, sir. Take care, sir. Bye, sir.